I'm Stefan Ruzowitzky, director of the Counterfeiters. And I try to stay away from every cliche, also positive cliches, you know, that all Jews are intellectuals and cultivated and wise people, because this is something I learned from Adolf Burger's book as well, that the people he's been together with, they were Jewish blue-collar workers, Jewish Prussian bankers, and for me it was rather the interesting thing that so there's a group of Germans, and just because they have Jewish ancestors, they're put in a camp, and the Nazis want to kill them. That's sort of that insane concept. When Adolf Burger is asked whether he still hates the Germans or whether he has problems with the Germans, he always says no. Because he's been in the camps always together with so many Germans, you know, German Jews, and these were people from Hamburg and Munich and whatever, but they were Germans as well, and so for him it wasn't Germans on one side and in the uniforms and Jews on the other, but there were Germans on both sides.
For me, it was much more easy because for me, it never mattered if to play a Jew or not, because this character doesn't care about his Jewishness at all. So it was much more the point why human beings treat other human beings like that, and under which conditions. And this was the most interesting point for me, and I hope that we will come one day to the point that it doesn't matter at all, no more. At that time, the story plays, it mattered too much. Today it matters, but not very, still in Austria and Germany, but there are so many Jews left. On the other hand, there weren't so many at that time as well. And this, when I first heard about, really I thought, no, I can't believe this, that only 0.8% of German population in 1933 were Jews. And this small amount of population should be responsible for all the evil happening to the German race. And this really was, this number drove me more crazy than every other fact of this part of our history. Several centuries ongoing tradition of having a minority between the own population to blame for anything you want. And it's kind of a fashion sometimes to protect them, and sometimes the governors, the kings, the dukes or so on would persecute them for any reason. It seems to be human to look for a minority you can blame for everything. But definitely that was the point for me, because he's sort of a lonesome wolf. He thinks of himself as an own world, and the others are the rest of the world outside. I don't belong to them, I need them, I use them, but I stay on my own. And suddenly, at once, in the concentration camp, he's forced to belong to others because he's a Jew. And he suddenly is forced to be responsible for others too, if he wants or not, because his skills decide whether they will live for a certain time at least, or if they will be killed at once if he doesn't manage to make the pounds and the dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So he is forced to start socializing for the first time of his life.
I mean, the idea was to balance all that as good as possible in terms of not saying there is a right way and there is a wrong way. And the idea was that you would watch Sally and say, well, yeah, probably I would have done the same thing. And then you hear Burger talking about principles and that the Nazis wouldn't have a chance if people would stick a little bit more to the principles, and you say, yes, I agree completely, but you also understand that guy who said, I almost died a dozen times, I just wanna go on living. And I just wanted to show everybody's right in a way, and everybody's causing some special problems with his approach. Initially, I thought that the audiences would much more fall for Burger, because he's sort of the typical hero with his ideals, and so we had some scenes which show his dark side as well. But then pretty early on, I found out that the opposite is the case. People love Sally because they can identify with him, because that's what we all are doing, just sort of try to get along. Somehow, and it's not always 100% correct, but we try to be good people, which sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't. Whereas people as Burger, I mean the movie character, not the real person, we admire them to a certain extent, for their because they're radical and idealistic, but at the same time they're boring, and we all know that they don't succeed with their big ideals, and then often that leads to even bigger catastrophes.
It's hard because I don't really I don't really know how to explain the process of acting. So because I don't know by myself, it happens. It sounds stupid, but it is a little bit like that. So one always tries to find symbols or Umschreibungen, analogies to explain something. So I could talk on for half an hour, but wouldn't say really anything clever or smart. I don't know. It was a challenge for me as itself, to do this. The biggest challenge was, might I be able to put away my personal feelings, my feeling of am I allowed to play a Jew as a non-Jew? To put away even my historical knowledge about this time, my all the things we heard at school or I read in books, because the guy I play doesn't give a shit on all this. He's has no political sense, and he's not aware of his Jewishness. He is what he is. I am I, and that was the biggest challenge, to be sure, when we start shooting, and not to care about all this and just make it happen.